Travis Smiley at 9 a.m. Truth Time with Dr. Cornell West and Nina Turner at 12 noon. Here they come, y'all. Here they come. Here they come, y'all. Here they come.
Get out the way. Get out the way. Get out the way.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show at 1 p.m. The D.L. Hughley Afternoon Show at 2 p.m. A More Perfect Union with Dr. Nee Quarterly Quartet at 4 p.m. Here they come, y'all. Here they come. Here they come, y'all. Here they come.
Get out the way. Get out the way. Get out the way.
Tune in weekdays from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. for the Talk of the Town. Only on KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about. Here they come, y'all. Here they come.
I dedicate this song to recession, depression, and unemployment. This song's for you.
Today's a new day, but there is no sunshine. Nothing but clouds, and it's dark in my heart, and it feels like a cold night. Today's a new day, but where are my blue skies? Where is the love and the joy that you promised me? Tell me it's alright.
I'll be honest with you.
I almost gave up, but a power that I can't explain fell from heaven like a shower now.
When I think how much better I'm gonna be when this is over.
I smile, even though I hurt, see I smile. I know God is working, so I smile, even though I've been here for a while.
What you do?
I smile.
KBLA. Yep. That's what we do. And look, this is not turning into a spiritual, well, it's always a spiritual. It's always a spiritual ministry. It's not turning into a church or a religion, but I love to start out the year with inspiration, goal setting, intention melding, creativity, and put ourselves on a path with some purpose, with some fortitude, with some spiritual inspiration. So I love, and those of you who have been hanging out with me for many, many years, and I know there are lots, and I do appreciate you. You know that. I love to start the year and the week, because we start every Monday. We do Mindful Mondays with Sahara Ali, because with all the politics and pop culture and personal stuff that's going on, I feel like we actually have to schedule in time to make sure that we don't forget to nourish our spirits. So I'm scheduling in time for us, family, and I'm so excited to be talking with a storytelling Seven-Pointed Star Ministries reverend. She is dedicated to spiritual focus, sharing universal truths about the power of love to heal anything and reveal only truth. She's the creator of a critically acclaimed CD that actually has a manual that comes with it. It's called Calling in the Circle, Peace and Power Through Prayer and Meditation. And much, much more. She's been featured and speaking in churches, a Kemetic African study group, as well as a television show. And she is also an assistant minister at Agape Church. Rev Greta Sesheta, welcome.
Thank you so much, Dominique. It's wonderful to be here with you, and thank you for that lovely introduction. I really appreciate it. I actually was an assistant minister at Agape and there for about 28 years.
Wow.
But I now have an online ministry called Seven-Pointed Star Ministries, and I'm just delighted to be with you. I do hear some feedback. I don't know, do you hear that also?
Oh, I'm hearing it, yeah, very, very faintly, but we will work on fixing that. Not sure what's going on with that. But yeah, I mean, I feel like I didn't even really do justice because your bio, well, look, you guys can go to revgreta.com, revgreta.com to find out more because there's a lot. And if I was going to read your bio, it will take the whole
Oh, no,
show.
don't do that. No, there's no need for that. I mean, I think it's going to just all unfold, but I love the idea of starting with mindfulness and a path with purpose, and that is what I'm all about. I mean, this is practical spirituality. You know, we all have our idea of the divine, what it looks like, feels like, sounds like. We have different names for it, but there's only one power, no matter how we visualize it or how we understand it. It's a power for what created everything out of itself for divine and perfect purpose. And we're here celebrating that.
Yeah. On your website, you have your vision. Would you like to share it with us?
I'm sorry, my what?
Your vision.
You know, it is, it's a vision of good. I don't know the exact verbatim, but what I'm interested in is a world that works for everyone and where we recognize they're as spiritual beings and we're here for one another. The 7 paths that I use in the 7-pointed star ministry is speaking and teaching, preaching and healing, writing and counseling, and celebrating. Mm-hmm. And I was part of an African Kemetic study group in 1993, and I was anointed with the name Sesheta. And I didn't know anything about Sesheta, but Sesheta is a goddess of writing and record keeping in ancient Egypt. And she was called the Lady of the Letters or the Lady of the Library. And I always was the one that was taking notes and doing writings and things. So the name Sesheta embraced me, and I have embraced it. And part of my ministry is my writing and my speaking and my record keeping. So I'm just really delighted to be here with you. I think of it as preaching as being the holy word, and that speaking is, my intention is to speak the whole truth. The teaching is about transforming knowledge, not just information, but things that we can actually use to change our lives for the better. The counseling is about divine guidance and direction that I feel is here for all of us. We may not be as aware of it as we might be because we get distracted with other things. The celebration is about ritual and ceremony, and that has to do with, you know, weddings and memorials and ordinations. And the healing is restoring our natural state of oneness, our natural state of wholeness, that's body, mind, and spirit. And the writing is about proclamations, about declaring what is really real and true. So I got the idea of the 7-pointed star from Sesheta because she wears a headdress that is a star with 7 points. So I took each one of the points of her star and made it a path or an avenue for my 7-pointed star ministry.
Well, I love those 7 points. They're very practical in the sense of, you know, what is it that we actually do that creates energy, right? Whether it's energy, spiritual energy, or actual creative, you know, energy. They're all part of that. So I love those 7 points. They're not really they're not really way out. They're real, like you said, practical spirituality.
And ways that we can express ourselves and ways that we can know ourselves as we're moving through these different structures, these different ways that we define what life is all about for us, and that's unique to each one of us. But we do have, the beginning of the year, we do have this strong pull towards hoping for something better and setting our sights for something better. The idea that a new year after 365 days is here, and especially this year with the new administration coming in and all of the anxiety and the upsetness that is called, and the ways that many of us are thinking and feeling about it. We could get just snowed under in worry and concern in the new year, not knowing what's going to happen to our idea of democracy and how we're going to be affected, how we're going to be called to change and to grow and to know more about who we really are and where our power lies, where it comes from. So I think that this is just day 2 of this new year, and here we are.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the reasons why I'm so excited to welcome you in, Reverend Greta Sesheta. I want to talk, when we come forward, I want to talk about some of the tools that folks can use to, whether you want to call it a goal, an intention, a resolution. I talked at the beginning of the show about how I mostly work in 21-day cycles rather than 365-day cycles. It's a little bit more forgiving for me. I don't have to wait another year to get myself back on track if I messed up. There's lots of different ways that people sort of embrace creating change or creating goodness, love, joy, creativity, progress in their lives and in their intentions. I want to look at that when we come forward. We're talking with Reverend Greta Sesheta, and you're always welcome in 800-920-1580. This is a place where we're elevating Black and progressive voices constantly. We are KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
Somebody bring out the confetti, baby!
Starting Monday, January 6th, KBLA Talk 1580 has a new midday lineup.
I'm excited.
Are you ready for Tavis Smiley, Dr. Cornel West, Jesse Jackson Jr., D.L. Hughley, and E. Quarterly Corte back-to-back?
Oh, my God.
Are you really ready for all this smoke?
I'm ready, brother.
Yes, we still have Dominique DiPrima in the mornings and Zoe Williams in the evenings, but middays just got lit on KBLA Talk 1580.
We on fire.
All across America, people are talking about our new midday lineup. Starting Monday, January 6th, our KBLA 1580 app downloads are on fire because everybody's going to be tuning in.
Yes, I love you guys. You are the bomb.
Now would be a good time to hit up SMB at KBLA1580.com if you want folks to hear about your business or brand. That's SMB at KBLA1580.com. It's going up in 2025 on KBLA Talk 1580.
It's going up.
That's what I want.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin. Hey, good morning. You're heading to the airport, right?
Yep, thanks for checking. I like the car. How long have you been a rideshare driver?
About 3 years now. I really enjoy it.
Isn't it hard to make money these days with the price of gas being so high?
Not for me. I use Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get real money back when you get gas with the Upside app?
Yep, I get real cash back every time I get gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make around $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code TOOL for an extra 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code TOOL for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code TOOL.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
Slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay, get your
GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad Pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
The conversation continues right now with Dominique DiPrima on First Things First.
Yes, we're starting off our year with some tools, intentions, and all things that we need to be in alignment and in balance. Reverend Greta Sesheta is with us, and she has her own online ministry. If we want to hear you, join you, we can do that via Zoom, via your website, right?
Yes, and it's on Facebook as well under Rev Greta Sesheta. And I have also a page that's just Greta Sesheta, my personal profile. But I do it on Zoom and on Facebook, and people tune in on Sunday mornings from 9 to 10 a.m. for the Sanctuary of the Spirit. And I usually have a musical guest, and I have a talk, and we do prayers at the end. And I've been doing it for 5 years. Very, very happy about that. The people that join in person on Zoom and the people that join on Sundays. And then, people join in throughout the week anytime they can, because each service just stays on Facebook as an archived place. So that's wonderful. And actually, I decided that this Sunday, instead of doing my regular service, it's going to just all be about prayer. And I'm inviting people to tune in and to bring their prayer requests. And we're going to just pray together, speak the word together, and talk a little bit about the power of prayer and how we can use it and how it uses us for as support and as guidance for our goals and for the ways that we want our lives to transform. So that's it. I usually have some kind of inspiration that I read as a part of the service.
So a lot of people, according to a bunch of studies that I've read, are kind of moving away from church and moving away from religion and towards spirituality. And one of the things that I think is inviting for people about Agape, and I'm assuming since you spent 28 years there that your ministry is similar in that you welcome in people of all different religious faiths and belief systems in a sort of non-denominational spiritual celebration.
That's correct. That's correct. There are so many ways to God, and they're all, there's either truth or falsity, and the Spirit of God is wholeness. It is truth. So any path that takes you further into the truth of your own being as a spiritual being that's having a human incarnation, all paths are welcome. And in fact, we can learn from one another and support one another in our paths. It's not as if any one particular group has the right way or the only way, and that it has to be this way or the highway. That, there are just so many paths to the divine. So we honor all of them.
How do you feel about resolutions, goal setting? You talked about how we often see a new year as an opportunity to start again. And it's one of the reasons I like to say Happy New Now, because I like to remind myself that every moment is an opportunity to start again. But I use a 21-day cycle because I've been taught by Sahara Ali and Eric Knoll that it takes us 21 days to start a new habit. And that way, if I mess it up or I change my course, I can set another 21-day goal, and I don't have to beat myself up for 365 days for falling short.
Right.
But how do you feel about that whole idea of goal setting or resolutions?
I think that some people say that the Babylonians were the first to make promises to the gods that they were going to lead a good life, they were going to be good people, so that the gods would be kind to them and think of them favorably. And I think that is one of the ways that we got to this place of making a New Year's resolution. I have a handwritten copy of New Year's resolutions that my father wrote in 1928.
Wow.
But he wrote them for my mother. He wanted my mother to be a certain kind of woman, and he made these resolutions for her and assured her that if she followed these resolutions, and he asked her to sign them. So, I think this is a tradition that is, it was a serious deal, back, they met in Los Angeles in 1922, and in 1928 he wrote these New Year's resolutions. But I think that it's a kind of a ritual, it's kind of a habit that people get used to, but most people, according to research that I've seen, most people have forgotten about it or just given up within the first 3 months. But yet every year they write the resolutions. And I just think that it is a ritual, it is a habit, but when you talk about the 21-day cycle and how it takes a certain amount of days of doing a habit before it becomes a habit for you. But I just want to suggest today that maybe instead of writing resolutions for the year, that we set an intention for one day, for 24 hours, like starting right now at 7:20, whatever time it is, that I make a commitment to myself that there is something that is calling for change in my life. As I look over my relationships, as I look at my health, as I look at my livelihood in my home. And I just wonder about the places that are calling for change, the places that I'm not feeling satisfied about how things are unfolding in my life. I look at those things and I think of one thing that one area in my life that I would welcome change and decide that there's something that I can do. And I would choose something simple, not something that's going to be super hard for me, but something that I could easily do. Like, just as an example, I just decide for 24 hours, I'm going to just treat people the way I want to be treated. However it is that I would like people to respond to me or speak to me, that's the way I'm going to speak to people. Or I'm going to decide that, there's some way that I can let go of a grudge. There's some way I can just forgive somebody, not because they didn't do the thing that really hurt me, but because it's hurting me to hold on to my feeling about it. That if I could just, pray for somebody that I wouldn't ordinarily think I wanted to pray for. There are people that really come to mind easily. But I have tried it. I have prayed for someone that, gosh, I had to think a couple of moments about it. But I did it. And it wasn't to say that he hasn't done these things and continues to do these things, but for me, forgiving is like handing it over. It's like, here, Spirit of God, Holy Presence, here, Father, Mother, however I think of the divine, take this. I'm giving it forth to you. Just saying, just looking at people and not judging, not thinking.
Okay, now that ain't easy. You said something that's not that hard for you to do. That's hard for me to do.
It's not easy.
Yeah.
But it's simple.
Simple. Okay. You said simple, not easy. You did.
Simple, not easy.
Yes.
I can go 24 hours without sugar. I love chocolate. Chocolate does not love me. But I can, for 24 hours, and sometimes, I say I'm glad that it's chocolate and not cocaine, because I would be in real trouble if it was. very seriously, but I can decide between today and tomorrow. I'm not going to do it. And at the end of that time, well, did I keep my agreement? Yes, I did. I can't go 30 days, but I can go 24 hours. And at the end of the 24 hours, either I kept my agreement or I didn't. There's a comedic saying that do it tomorrow just as you did it today. And if I can do it today and I want to continue tomorrow, I can do it tomorrow. And so it is that I go day by day, really largely feeling very successful about it because I can do it for a day. I can be kind. I can be generous. I can be thoughtful for a day. And then I can do the same thing tomorrow if that's what I choose. But I am a choice. And I can keep going through the same old things that I always do, making the same old mistakes that I don't want to make anymore. I could, like bury myself like that. Or I could decide, wait a minute, I can do this for a day. I can be successful at it. And if I'm not successful, I don't have to beat myself up. I haven't failed miserably. I just haven't met it for the day. Do I want to try again tomorrow? Yes, I'll try again tomorrow. I don't know. It works for me. I just offer it. And maybe your listeners, if you have a sense of making a goal for the day for yourself, and at the end of the day you see how you did with it, and you're aware that other listeners are trying it too, and you can feel supported as you're supporting other people, knowing that this is something that is possible.
Yeah.
So I just offer it. Yeah.
Okay, I love that. Keeping it simple, not easy, but simple. Love that.
Yeah.
And so when we continue this conversation after news, traffic, and sports, I want to look at some of the other tools that we sometimes use and see what you think about those, or if you have advocated them, or if you have an alternative, as in this case. And the two things that come to mind immediately are prayer, since you went there and you have a ministry this Sunday, and also journal writing. You said that because the name Sesheta, you deal with the role of writing in setting intentions or spiritual choices. Want to look at that and more when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
A safe place to go loud. A great place for progressive politics. KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 things you should know from BIN News. The FBI believes 42-year-old American citizen and Army veteran Shamsud Dinjabar wasn't acting alone. And ISIS-flagged weapons and IEDs were found in his truck. He was killed in a shootout with police in New Orleans, injuring 2 officers. The World Health Organization urges China to share its coronavirus data to help prevent future pandemics. Scientists are divided on COVID's origins, with some suspecting a lab escape. China has not yet responded to the request. Texas advances in the college football playoff after a double overtime win against Arizona State in the Peach Bowl. They secured a 39-31 victory. Texas will play in the Cotton Bowl semifinal on January 10. And the New York City Public Library celebrates the return of its most overdue book, an Igor Stravinsky autobiography, 72 years after it was checked out. The borrower's son returned it just before Christmas. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 at BINnews.com.
Love your baby's teeth. Before that first tooth, wipe their gums with a washcloth. When those first teeth come in, use a soft toothbrush and just a tidbit of toothpaste. And take them to the dentist by their first birthday. Learn more at loveyourbabysteeth.com. Brought to you by the LA County Department of Public Health.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Notre Dame and Georgia will play in the Sugar Bowl today in New Orleans at 1 p.m. Pacific time. The game was postponed for a day after Wednesday's terrorist attack in New Orleans French Quarter killed 15 13 people and injured more than 2 dozen. The Notre Dame, Georgia winner will play Penn State January 9th in the college football semifinals. Former Ram star Eric Dickerson will hold on to the NFL single-season rushing record for at least another year. Philadelphia running back Saquon Barkley will sit out the Eagles' final regular season game against the New York Giants. Barkley was only 105 yards short of breaking Dickerson's record. UCLA's women's basketball team, number 1 in the nation, remained unbeaten after beating Michigan Wednesday. 16 points and 10 assists for Bruins guard Kiki Rice. USC star Juju Watkins dropped 26 and the Trojans win over Nebraska. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Environmental justice is racial justice.
Environmental justice is social justice.
This is KBLA Talk 1580.
The revolution will not be televised.
This is Brother Cornell West. My dear brothers and sisters, I'm full of joy and delight to announce that I'm joining the precious family at KBLA Talk 1580, founded and led by my dear brother Tavis Smiley himself. Yes, the name of the show is Truth Time, and I'll be working with the inimitable Nina Turner out of Cleveland, Ohio, sister of great vision, and we will be on weekdays at 12 noon. We will be following Brother Tavis Smiley's show. We will begin Monday, January the 6th. That's right, Monday, January the 6th. Get ready for a different kind of insurrection. We coming with Martin Luther King Jr. and Fannie Lou Hamer and Curtis Mayfield and Aretha Franklin, and gonna add a little Gil Scott-Heron too, as Nina Simone sits at the center. That's right.
The revolution will be live.
That's what we gonna do. Please come with us on this fantastic voyage.
The revolution will put you in the driver's seat.
KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 is committed to self-care and community well-being. Walk Good LA was formed in June 2020, inspired by the Black Lives Matter movement and the beginning stages of the COVID-19 pandemic. What began as a few minutes of breath work and yoga meditation before protests against police brutality turned into a safe space for the community to heal in hard times. The immensely positive response from the community transformed the momentum into a movement. Today, Walk Good LA is a black and brown-led community wellness organization based in Los Angeles. They provide spaces for healing through community yoga classes, guided meditations, hikes, run clubs, and other activations throughout Los Angeles that attract hundreds of members weekly. With the help of Propel and Michael B. Jordan, they now have a yoga and wellness studio in Los Angeles called the Walk Good Yard. To join their mailing list and connect with healing spaces, please visit walkgoodla.org. That's walkgoodla.org. Or find them on Instagram at WalkGoodLA. This is a community call to action, a community call to healing from KBLA Talk 1580.
So this new dose is, nope, that's not it. The price is nowhere to be found.
Mr. Green? Hi, it's all good. We've got this.
This is not just help from a Walgreens pharmacist.
Oh, new prescriptions. Cool. Let me check to see if these are the lowest cost options covered by your Medicare plan.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
This is someone supporting you every step of the way. Chat with a pharmacist today to find help saving. This is the human kind of help. Walgreens.
I occasionally have nerve discomfort in my hands, so the things I love to do...
Let's play something, Grandma.
...became difficult as I got older.
If you have occasional stabbing and burning in your hands and feet, try Nervive Nerve Relief. Nervive's clinically studied dose of alpha-lipoic acid reduces occasional nerve discomfort in as little as 7 days with continued daily use. Say yes to healthy nerves with Nervive Nerve Relief. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
This is KBLA Talk 1580, where everybody is somebody and nobody is a stranger. You belong here.
Yes, as we wrap up 2024 and bring in 2025, we're being joined by people that have good energy, good practices, and great ways for us to connect. Reverend Greta Sesheta is joining us. So you can go to Rev Greta on Facebook or revgreta.com and tap in with her 7 Points Ministry. And you talked about how the name Sesheta comes from the ancient Kemetic, ancient Egyptian African traditions, and is around letters and storytelling. You do that. How do you use that in the sense of finding spiritual balance, intention, path, whether it be journal writing or whether it be affirmations or any other manner that storytelling that we might use for our self-healing journey?
Mm-hmm. I am a poet. I have written some children's books and some books on prayer and working on a memoir, but a lot of the books that have come from the writing that I've done, and quite a bit of it is what you would call stream of consciousness, when I just start writing without a goal in mind as to what it's going to be. But many of the things that I have just written have turned out to be information for the talks that I've done or the other books that I have written. There's something about getting the feelings out of ourselves and down onto the paper in a way that we can see it, that we can have this way of expressing ourselves where nobody is judging us, but we're just, and sometimes it's something that we write that we don't keep. Sometimes we ritualistically burn it or bury it, something that we have written. But I have things that I've written so many decades ago that still are inspirational for me now because of the place that I am now, which is different from when I originally wrote. So we can use the things that we're writing as ways of expressing and ways of inspiring ourselves. And sometimes it's quite surprising, the thing that comes out. I have also done I would write a question with my right hand and then put the pen in my left hand and just let the pen move across the paper in response to what I had written. And I did this one day. I don't usually get headaches, but this one day I had a terrible headache. So I wrote with my right hand, what is this about? Not why am I having this headache or how do I get rid of it, but what is this about? And then I put the pen in my left hand and I just wrote, and I was writing on a piece of notebook paper. And by the time I finished the writing at the end of the notebook paper at the bottom of it, the headache was gone. There was something, an energy that just took over. Maybe there was something that just needed to be expressed in the way that it was expressed. And I still have this piece of paper that I wrote these many years ago, but it's called backwards writing or writing with a non-dominant hand. That is a way of healing something that you may not even really understand. So I have used that quite a bit with my writing. And then, I have a couple of different journals. I have one where I just write things about healing and wholeness for myself and for other people. I have one that I just started that's just about prayer, and you talked about prayer, and we all have this history with prayer. Some of us have been praying for a long time. Some of us don't pray very much. Some of us were forced to pray in a certain kind of way. Others were forbidden for praying, for saying certain things are too sacred to say. But we find our own way of expressing, of connecting, and many times that we feel like the prayer is just so we can get stuff. How will we know that? How do we know this is an effective prayer? We know it's a good prayer if we get what we wanted. But we can also lean into that sense of prayer is like, it's a time of connecting with our idea of the divine, our idea of what is righteous and true and eternal. Some people think that praying is speaking to the divine and meditating is listening to the divine, but I tend to think that it's a kind of a blend of both of those things.
That prayer and meditation are both a blend of both of those things?
A way of communing with our higher selves, not a God that's up in the sky somewhere in the heaven, but the sense of the divine that is our highest self, that is within us, that presence that each of us has, whether or not we are aware of it. And this is, some people think, there are 5 steps to prayer, there are 3 steps to prayer. You have to say it in this particular way, facing this direction at this time of the day. But each of us finds our own way to connect with what is real and true for us. And that is what prayer is. That is what prayer can be in my thought about it. And the most powerful prayer is just thank you. Thank you sets us up to receive. You don't say thank you with your arms closed and your head down. You say thank you with your arms open and your heart open. So every morning when I wake up, I just say thank you for watching over us through the night. It's a prayer that my dad used to say when I was a little girl. Thank you for watching over us through the shades of the night. If we wake up in the morning, it's cause for gratitude. And the more we express gratitude, the more the universe gives us to be grateful for. So, the prayer doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be fine. Thank you is a beautiful prayer.
Yeah.
And I highly recommend it. It's just in whatever way you find that you can connect. And some people pray by walking, by stretching, by planting, by cooking. I mean, there's so many different ways of connecting with the divine, especially in these times when it feels like, well, who or what is here to help us? Who or what is here to guide and direct us?
Yeah.
Who or what is...
I think that's right. I mean, I think, an example is this, the news over the weekend that somebody in New Orleans attacked people with a truck. And when these kinds of things happen, I think it can shake people's faith. Apparently, there's breaking news right now of saying there's a connection between the Cybertruck that blew up in front of the Trump Tower, which was packed with explosives, and the person running a truck into a crowd in New Orleans, and 15 people died. But, or elections, as you pointed out earlier in our conversation, the various things that kind of take the wind out of our sails and make us feel like there's less hope, or that somehow we've been forsaken by God. And I think, to your point, when we focus on a prayer of thank you, then we're focusing on what we want, what we're happy about, as opposed to all of the things that we don't want or that cause us fear and anxiety.
Right. The things that, like being able to see, to hear, to think, to speak, to eat, to walk. There are many people that are not able to do those simple things, but precious things that many of us are able to do. And these things happen because we have choice.
Right.
Because we're not cookie cutters and we're not connected to what is real and true. So terrible things happen. They do. And wonderful things happen. And we have a choice to be a part of this or a part of that. We have a choice to put our attention in the loving, kind, considerate things that we are doing and that other people are doing. And we can bless and know that people that are not with us are making another choice. And we can't really change for them, but we can change the atmosphere that we're living in by the energy and the thoughts that we have, by the way that we speak and the ways that we think and the things that we believe in. And there are tragedies and there are triumphs, and they all happen in this thing called life.
Talking with Reverend
Greta.
Sorry,
Yeah.
go ahead.
I'm just saying that we have choice. We are at choice. And we can spend all of our time lamenting and being worried and upset and afraid. Or we can turn our attention to that which is real and kind and true and loving.
Talking with
And
Reverend
call
Greta Sesheta, bringing in the new year. And we'll continue the conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
Here they come, y'all. Here they come. Here they come, y'all. Here they come.
Get out the way. Move.
First Things First with Dominique DiPrima at 6 a.m. Tavis Smiley at 9 a.m. Truth Time with Dr. Cornell West and Nina Turner at 12 noon. Here they come, y'all. Here they come. Here they come, y'all. Here they come.
Get out the way. Get out the way. Get out the way.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show at 1 p.m. The D.L. Hughley Afternoon Show at 2 p.m. A More Perfect Union with Dr. Nee Quarterly Quartet at 4 p.m. Here they come, y'all. Here they come. Here they come, y'all. Here they come.
Get out the way. Get out the way. Get out the way.
Tune in weekdays from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. for the talk of the town. Only on KBLA Talk 1580. We got a lot to talk about. Here they come, y'all. Here they come.
We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, I'm Zoe Williams, a.k.a. the Voice of Reason, encouraging you to join me weekdays from 7 to 9 p.m. for the world's most intriguing relationship radio roundtable. Every night, I facilitate and encourage our loyal listeners to participate in the most engaging relationship discussions you'll hear anywhere. So make it a point to rendezvous with me, Zoe Williams, the Voice of Reason, Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Trust me, your relationships will never be the same. The VOR is on fire tonight.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black. KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminds you that we keep us safe. Every girl deserves a chance to shine. That's the belief behind Forgiving for Living, Inc. Since 1999, this organization has been empowering at-risk girls ages 13 to 18, helping them overcome behavioral and mental health challenges. Founder Wendy Gladney's personal journey inspired the mission to give girls hope and purpose through the power of forgiveness. Through their ambassador program, workshops, and annual conference, Forgiving for Living has touched over 3,000 young lives, providing mentoring, life skills, training, and tools for building self-esteem and confidence. You can make a difference. Visit forgivingforliving.org to donate, volunteer, become a mentor, or find help for a young girl in need. Forgiving for Living, Inc., building brighter futures for young girls. Visit forgivingforliving.org today. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Broadcasting live from Leimert Park, USA. Welcome back to your home for unapologetically progressive radio. KBLA Talk 1580.
Bringing in the new year with Reverend Greta Sesheta and her 7-point ministries, giving us some inspiration. You mentioned the idea of prayer, and where we started out, that many say meditation is where we listen to God and prayer is where we talk to God, and the idea of leading with gratitude, which I do because I don't want to be begging all the time. God, if you just do this for me. Then I feel like I'm trying to control God. God, I just need $1.75 and 2 days off. Maybe God knows better what I need than I do, right? So I always try to remember thy will to will the divine will. But you have a whole prayer day for your service on Sunday. So talk to
Yeah.
me about, you said that really kind of said there's no right way to pray or no wrong way to pray.
Right. The way that I learned was to first to recognize the presence of God, so however that looks to me, to realize that there is this presence and that it created everything out of itself. And that would include who I am. That would include who you are. Everything that is created out of this energy that is for us, an energy that is good, that is never against us, that is always right where we are, that is not some far off place, that we don't have to be good to know God. We don't have to jump through any loops. Who we are is the expression of God. God created each one of us. So if I realize that God created me out of itself, and that God is intelligent, and God is beautiful, and God is generous, and God is compassion, and God is peaceful, that becomes who I get to know that I am. I get to realize the truth of who I am. And once I realize the truth of who I am, I'm grateful. I'm saying thank you. I appreciate. And once I have recognized the presence, I remember that I'm one with it, that I'm created out of it, that the gifts of God are gifts that I've been given. I'm grateful. And then I let it go, and I let it be. I allow the gifts of God to be expressed through and as me. And in letting it go, I just say, and so it is. Amen. I let it be.
And so it is.
It's so simple.
Yeah, but you know what? It sounds
more
simple.
Than that, it's just,
but when really terrible things happen, or we're in our disease, whether that disease is physical illness or the dis-ease of depression, anxiety, fear, or loss, saying thank you can feel hard. What am I don't feel grateful that my house burned down. I don't feel grateful that, these terrible tragedies that we mentioned before, news, traffic, and sports, are occurring. So that can, although it's simple, it can feel very impossible.
So let me say it like this, to be not grateful for what has happened, but to be grateful in the midst of what is happening. I've had just terrible loss in my life, and all of us experience at some time or another someone that we love, that we lose one way or another. And so, no, I'm not grateful for the loss. But what I do know is that God is still being God, and that God is more than this. And the moreness of God is where I am, even in my loss, even in my sorrow, even in my sadness. God is still being God. And God is for me, even when it feels like everything else and everybody else is against me. That is where my faith comes in. And my opportunity to commune and connect with the divine strengthens my faith in God.
How important do you think it is to have a practice, a routine, or some kind of a spiritual schedule? Now, I'm not just talking about church. It could be church, but it could be prayer, could be meditation, could be reading. How important is that?
I think it is the most important thing, because we're spiritual beings having this human incarnation. So anything that reminds us that we're whole and we're complete and we're wondrously made, whatever we do that reminds us of that is a spiritual practice. whatever we do that's bringing out the best and the highest in us, that is a spiritual practice. If it is, sometimes it's just acknowledging somebody that you would ordinarily look away from or turn your head, and sometimes that's a spiritual practice. Anything that reminds us of who we really are, even in the midst of all of the terrible, awful things that are happening.
Yeah. I'm laughing because I'm thinking about, like, the president-elect, for example, or others that I consider just evil.
Yeah.
You say, well, looking at someone or turning towards someone that we would normally turn away from, I've worked really hard to try to train myself away from name calling and things that sink me into that energy. But I do think there's something called discernment, where we have to be able to say, that is evil and that's light over there.
Yes, but not to judge it, if we can just acknowledge it. And I'm with you all the way there, and I know that the instruction is not to judge. And I want to judge because I can see that person is.
But isn't there a difference between judgment and discernment? I mean, I see an apple, it's rotten, sure. I'm not going to eat it. Is that judgment, or is that just discernment?
It sounds like discernment to me.
Yeah, so
because
I guess
you're making a decision that is for yourself, and you don't have to eat a rotten apple.
Right.
Nobody wants you to do that.
Right.
So that's your choice, and you are at choice always.
We are at choice always.
Other people might want to eat rotten apples to prove something that they think is important, but that's not your choice.
Right.
Yes, and when I was talking about, praying for somebody I didn't want to pray for, I was talking about the president-elect.
Right.
But I did pray for him, and something didn't make him better, but it helped me. It helped
it might have made him just a tiny bit better, Rev. So we got
let's hope.
Let's hope. We've got 60 seconds here. What would you like to leave us with, Reverend Greta Sesheta?
I'm just so grateful for this opportunity, Dominique. I thank you so much. I've been a fan of yours for a long time, and I'm just delighted to be here, and thank you for the opportunity to share. I'd love for people to join me on Sunday if they can.
Yes, and thank you for the invitation. I appreciate you starting out our new year with us. It's Rev Greta, is that it? RevGreta.com.
Yeah.
And Greta is Greta.
Yes, that's correct. Or Rev Greta at me if you want to email me if you have any question, or if you have a prayer request. I'd love to take prayer requests as well.
Ooh.
RevGreta@me.com.
And of course, your service is online. We can find it on the website, the link, or on Facebook under Rev Greta.
Facebook, yes.
Sundays at 9, or as archived anytime you want, right?
Yes, yes. Thank you so much, Dominique.
Yeah, thank you for blessing our first broadcast of the year. It's much appreciated.
I enjoy. Thank you.
We will be talking with a titan among motivational speakers. We got you. We're joined by Lisa Nichols. I'm excited. I haven't talked to her in forever. So that's next on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 things you should know from BIN News. The FBI believes 42-year-old American citizen and Army veteran Shamsud Dinjabar wasn't acting alone, and ISIS flag weapons and IEDs were found in his truck. Texas advances in the college football playoff after a double overtime win against Arizona State in the Peach Bowl. They secured a 39-31 victory. Texas will play in the